Relationships aren't easy, whether it's friends, family, but especially our romantic and sexual ones. Navigating the minefield of dating can feel daunting. Exploring the limits of your sexual desires can feel overwhelming. And communicating your needs with your partner can seem impossible. Today's guest is someone who helps you untangle, focus, reset, and find success in all of your relationships. And he's here to bestow some of that wisdom onto us. I'm Patrick Marano, and this is Queerly Us. Before we begin, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss an episode. He is a queer executive coach, relationship expert, and researcher, and the founder of Coaching Naked, a luxury coaching studio helping high achievers live audaciously, love securely, and lead with pleasure. With a master's in positive psychology and a specialty in attachment, intimacy, and desire, he guides his clients, especially gay men, through transformational work that builds lasting relationships, better sex, and authentic success. Please welcome to the show, Craig Cassey.
Hey, Patrick. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for being here. You do it all. You're like the one-stop coach shop.
Kind of. It feels that way sometimes. I got a lot of business clients who month 3 rolls around and they're like, "Can we talk about my marriage or my bed life?" I'm like, "Sure." Why not?
There's a lot of questions to be asked. I'm going to put your website on the screen because I know that is important. Coachingnaked.com. Now, you're not actually coaching naked, though, right?
No, not right. Well, you
Okay.
can't see my bottom half, but I am fully clothed at the moment.
Okay. Shoot.
Next time.
So that's just the coaching naked. Where did that come from? Like, what does that mean for you, coaching naked?
Yeah, well, I think for myself, transformationally, and a lot of my clients, the work that we do, the journey begins with taking off the stories, the fears, and the doubts that we've kind of been spoon-fed. We're told that we have to live into, even as queer people, the way that a relationship has to look or what we actually need to show up as to find a partner. So Coaching Naked's all about when we remove those stories and you get back to what's left, your reality, your desires, even your fears, and then growing from that place. So we're all about stripping it down, metaphorically speaking, unless you want to go further, and then helping you generate a life and a relationship from that authentic place.
I love that. So I am somebody who is watching Queerly Us, and I clicked on this video because I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is for me. Who is an intimacy coach for? Who is your clientele?
Mhm. So there are a few reasons you would hire an intimacy coach or a sex coach. You might be single, you've had hung-ups in bed before, and you're looking to
Mm,
learn how to show up more confidently, to actually generate the sex life you want, to learn how to communicate. So it's kind of like one part. A lot of my clients are actively in relationships, and they're struggling with things like how do we open up successfully and still actually grow our relationship together, improve our intimacy one-on-one, and also enjoy the world out there and all that our community has to offer in terms of play. And then lastly, there's also people who just have anxiety or ED, and they need help getting their body to function the way that they want to, which one part of that is your brain, the stories that you have. And the second part is how do we actually work somatically to get your body comfortable, safe, and excited enough to be turned back on. So those are kind of like the 3 main groups that I see.
So if I'm not in a relationship, I could still come to you to
Uh,
talk about relationships, obviously.
Totally. I mean, we both want to work on relationships when we're not in them. So you feel like you have a strong foundation. And a lot of times when you leave a relationship is when you have a few ahas like, oh shit, like I either
Mm,
didn't know what I was doing or I didn't feel like I could speak up, or clearly the partner that I selected was not in alignment. And I need to review what had me choose this person so I can
right.
choose a better person moving forward.
Yeah.
That's a great time to get some support.
Been there, done that.
I know the feeling too. Don't worry.
Do you know one thing that I went through with my ex? I was married, and then we were going through the divorce process, and then we went to a therapist, and it was so good because we weren't trying to necessarily save the marriage, but it was more about closure and just it was very helpful. So I guess my message to somebody who's watching is like, contact Craig.
You can do it before you get divorced too. You don't have to wait until that point.
Well, that was my story and my example, but I'm just saying, yeah, in anywhere you are in your relationship, I guess, journey, right? With yourself or with others.
And it does make a big difference. I mean,
Yeah.
looking at you after that journey, is there anything that you wish you would have had before the divorce?
You mean emotionally speaking?
Yeah, or even just like what you learned through the therapy process, if there was like a tool you wish you had in your back pocket years ago.
Oh yeah, tons. Yeah. I'm not gonna share here because
We're
it's
good. Well, you
very,
can
very
find more
personal.
tools with me if you have a similar experience.
We'll talk after. But yeah, yes, for sure. No, for sure. It's so helpful. And well, hindsight's 2022, but yeah. So I'm going to sort of navigate the conversation with you, keeping my audience in mind.
Mhm,
So I want to talk about things that I know that they are interested slash wondering about.
mhm.
So I did notice something. You posted a video talking about what tops need to know about their bottom's holes, and I thought that that was really interesting, because we do talk about, what bottoms need, what tops need, and everything, but I had never heard this said before. So can you explain to us, if you're a top that's watching, or even verse, and you like to top, what is it that tops need to know about their bottom's holes?
Yeah, so I will clarify. We're just talking about the one hole. If you got multiple holes, we're talking about your anus for this conversation.
Fair.
Some guys got more than one.
Yep.
But recent research has shown that there are like three different kinds of bottoms that you might run into during pride season or beyond.
Yes.
And they really come down to the experience of pressure you have in your butt, which dictates whether something feels pleasurable or painful, whether you can relax more easily or not. And I find a lot of couples that don't know how to bridge that communication divide of, I'm used to work with my big tool and just sliding right into certain partners, but with you, it's always painful. What do we need? So the three kinds of holes are as follows. You can have a low pressure hole, which just means you're naturally relaxed. You might not be carrying a ton of stress between the cheeks, and taking things, toys, dicks probably comes more easily. Doesn't mean
Mhm.
we're going to slide it with the fist right away,
No, thank you.
but I mean,
Not
more
yet.
power to the people that can.
Yes.
But people who have low pressure, they're more easily able to do stuff like that. And that's
Mm.
like a third of the population. The second is you're going to have a medium pressure hole. And this is really about your pelvic floor and the tension there, which just means you're going to be tight at first. You actually really benefit from some toy fucking or toy play. Not just a finger, but like finding a toy the size and the girth of your partner and warming up with that before they come over, even while you're making out and doing foreplay. But once you're warmed up, you're pretty much good to go, right?
Mm.
So these people might be painful at first, but a little bit of warming up can go a long way, even if just 5 minutes. And then the final one is if you're like me right now and you have a high pressure hole, which just means you carry a lot of tension there. You might need some yoga,
Uh-huh.
some pelvic floor exercises. I can put some videos up of that later. But
Yeah.
you're someone who actually needs to teach your pelvic floor to relax, and having a
Mm.
partner can help with that. But this is really, I'd recommend people with tighter holes need 2 to 3 times a week to be dilating, to be
Mhm.
playing whatever video game you want and sitting on a dildo on some dilators for 10 to 15 minutes, doing some Kegels while you have a toy in you. We don't always recommend Kegels if you're really tight, but if you're doing them while you're filming something, it actually helps your body relax as you're
Mm.
teaching your hole. Oh, it's safe to be full. Oh, it's safe to experience that. You can handle more. And that's the work of what people with a high pressure hole need. And tops just need to be very accommodating because there's no rushing a high pressure bottom or a high pressure hole, pardon me.
Yes.
Maybe both and
Yeah,
there.
they could be both, I would, yeah, yeah. What can but so a high pressure, I mean, can you go from high pressure to low pressure, like, with practice? And, like, are you bo is somebody born a low pressure hole, or is this, like, learned and taught?
So I think it depends, like based on people's anatomy and how we carry stress and pressure, and also like our day to day lives. If we're working out, doing a ton of glute days or whatnot, it might differ. I've seen people go from high pressure to medium. I've seen people go from medium to low just because they've done the training to relax. I've never seen someone go from high to low. And
Mm.
it isn't that it's not possible. I think it's just sometimes the way that we're wired as people to carry stress there. If you've ever had like an anal fissure or a tear, that actually, if you have it
Oh,
repeatedly, it
yeah.
takes the anal cavity and it actually can make it smaller, which
Oh,
also can increase like the pressure. So when we heal that and stretch it back out, then we get to go back to medium or low. But those are factors to be aware of too.
yeah. There needs to be like butt education in schools.
I mean, I love butt education and sex education. I wish we had it all. America right now, I know you're in Canada, but America's a weird place in that regard. So we get our education strangely on TikTok.
Yeah.
But if people do want to learn more about that in particular, there's a man by the name of Dr. Evan Goldstein
Mm,
in New York City. He runs Bespoke Surgical, and he does this research, and he's also a surgeon that helps people heal from fissures, and he has a ton of really good information, glass toys that you can buy. And people are scared of glass toys because the idea
mhm.
is, what if they, break in your bum, which, don't smack it while you're riding it.
Yeah.
The great thing about these toys are glass toys, they have no friction when
Yeah.
you put lube on them. So if you are tight or you are recovering from a fissure, buy one of those, lube it up,
Mm.
slide it right in, will feel great.
That's what I heard about glass. I heard glass is like really great.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah. And like you said, like if you ever hold a glass toy, you see that it's not gonna chip or break. Like it's solid.
yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
light bulb. Don't do that. Get a glass toy. Get a real toy from a real reputable company.
Oh my god, a light bulb.
People do weird stuff. One of my favorite
No,
stories
stop.
is there
Yeah.
are like cardinals who always end up in the hospital every few years. We're talking like Catholic cardinals because they fell on a candlestick and it went too far up. It's like, what curtains are you hanging that you magically fell on a candlestick? I can't even. I have
Are
to try really hard.
these like gold candlesticks that are like sitting on the altar or something?
Closer to God, I guess.
I can't. Okay, let's keep with the theme of this. Bathhouses
Mm,
is a huge topic on my channel that people just consume the content because there's so many misconceptions and misnomers. Is that the same thing? And if you've never gone, there's a lot of mystery behind it. There's a lot of anxiety, apprehension. Um, so getting the information out about what these spaces are like and how to navigate them is a big chunk of what I do on my main channel, not here.
mhm.
Um, so maybe you can help us. How does somebody go from panic attack mode of like a bathhouse, oh no, to like actually enjoying the space?
Yeah. I'll say this. So, even though I do this work, right, my first experience in a bathhouse was one of like oscillating between, oh, I'm excited and overwhelmed. This is a lot.
Yeah.
And as someone who experienced like some small t trauma in the past, like I have a very strong sense of myself and my body. And if I want you to touch it, I'm open. If I do not want you to touch it, I really shut down and, really does not work in either anyone's favor. So I tell clients this: your first experience in a bathhouse does not have to be the experience you're going to have, a year or two down the road. If it's new and it's out of your comfort zone, it's normal for anyone to be nervous, to experience a bit of fear, but going with friends can make a big difference. My first time, I made it 1 hour in. I hit my overwhelm capita. I, met a cute boy, met a big dick, and then my body shut down, and my partner and I agreed I would go home, and then he would stay behind. 2 days later, though, once I had a chance to practice or actually process and be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what I liked. I enjoyed being in the well lit spaces where I could really actively cruise and choose who I wanted to play with, being in the outdoor spaces on the rooftop in Puerto Vallarta or in the pool. And I had a plan. Knowing what you want to get out of it and how you can generate that experience gives you a lot more confidence and ease because
Mm,
you realize, oh, I can say no to the dark room with the one singular red light bulb.
mhm.
And I can say yes to the areas that feel more comfortable. There's no need to have to be in every single part of the bathhouse. You can listen to your body and just kind of relax into really experiencing it, or like allowing the experience to be what it is for you.
That's a really great point. Like, I think a lot of people think that when you go to a bathhouse, suddenly you're going to be in the sling and being fisted, or you're in the suddenly you have to be in the dark room, with 20 other guys and just doing whatever's happening. Like
Mhm.
the bathhouse is whatever you want it to be, and there's so many different spaces there to enjoy,
Mhm.
and for different people, like
Mhm.
from the state, like you said, the what did you call them, the wellness areas?
I mean, so have you been to Puerto Vallarta?
No, is that Spartacus?
Oh my gosh, it's Spartacus. Well, at least you know her. You've heard of.
Hello, I do bathhouse reviews, so bitch is on my list to go check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, just in different bathhouses, not every space feels inherently sexual. And there are like steam rooms and saunas, and there are sometimes cold rooms. And then there are like
Mhm.
outdoor areas with pools where you can fuck, but you can also just relax. And some of them even have food. So, like, I will just say, you get to choose your adventure as you go. And the invitations really slow down and ask, what am I honestly in the mood for? If I drop all stories of how I should be showing up or what I need to do to get the most out of the experience. But if you like anonymous play, there are great glory holes that you can sit behind. And if you're like me and you really need that connection, then like allow yourself to relax, mosey around, see people under good lighting where you can actually connect maybe energetically. And
Yeah.
then maybe you go to a smaller space, to the video lounge, to, the dark room where you have your own corner.
Yeah. I am one of those people that, like, I like the anonymous play, but only when I know who it is. So
Yes.
it's not really anonymous. Like it's almost like I'll hang out outside and then pick the person and then bring them into like an anonymous space. So I know who it is. It's not really anonymous, but I
But
still like that.
it's a narrative, right? It's a role playing. It's like, oh, I don't know who you are, but you're one of the three people that I chose to be here, and now you're rotating. And I mean, that's exciting. And
Yeah.
it's also, I love what you said because for a lot of our bodies, like we have certain requirements to feel safe and secure enough to enjoy sex. And
Hmm.
also, we still have these fantasies around anonymous play, around some people say like rape play, consensual non-consent, or I had a past partner who loved to be abducted, which
Mm.
talk about a fun role play scenario to have to create.
That sounds like a lot of work to set up and stuff.
The thing I love about kink is you can take it as far as you want, be as creative as you want. And some days it did feel like I was producing an episode on HGTV, but a much kinkier version where there's a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts to handle. But like just because you're into it, but you don't like true anonymous play, doesn't mean that you can't also create something like it to enjoy.
Did you actually like rent a van or something and then like did you know what I mean? Like a windowless van and then pull up and sort of slide the door open and then put him inside?
Thankfully, Ubers were sufficient for the
Oh, okay.
brief moment of transportation. But I do, the strange thing in America, we've got so many Amazon delivery people that they're just white vans that will deliver your packages. And some of those van drivers happen to be lovely gay men who are ready to fool around. So
Really? That's
you can
amazing.
find that if you want. Just you might be doing an extra few boxes.
This is just a little side story, but I actually hooked up with a FedEx guy in his truck while he was on duty. Yeah.
I love that. I think the FedEx outfits are so attractive.
Yeah.
Immediate turn on.
Yeah.
They're always so juicy.
Yeah. 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 It was hot back there too, though, because it was like this was in LA, so already it was like hot. And then in the enclosed space, he shuts the door and it's just like you can't breathe back there. It's just it's not meant for, people to be it's just it's
No.
supposed to be just for packages, but
Yeah. Well, I guess a quickie feels good. Same
yeah.
thing, like if you've ever had sex in front of a fireplace, it seems so sensual and erotic.
Yeah,
But the thing you
romantic.
forget is a fire is like it just dries out all the air around you. So you got to
Oh.
have like extra water or like lemonade while you go, or you're not sucking a dick after a few
But
minutes.
you're just too dry. It's dry. Oh god. Okay. I do get comments sometimes about sexless relationships. So when I saw a video of yours talking about sexless relationships, I was like, okay, this is perfect. I'm going to bring this up because a lot of people there's kind of two camps, and this we're going to talk about open relationships in a little bit, but there's kind of like two camps. There's the monogamous people and then the open relationship people, and the open relationship people are like, well, we do that because the sex died, and then the monogamous people are like, well, if you were really in love, then you wouldn't need it anywhere else. So there's all this blah blah blah, two sides. But say you're in a relationship and the sex has gone away,
Mhm.
is there a way to get it back?
Oh, there are so many. And the biggest lie you can tell yourself is that the state of your relationship is static and it's just like, oh, that's where it is. There's nothing we can do. Like we've
Yeah.
tried once or twice and we should just
Oh.
leave it. Your sex life in any relationship, it is like a plant that you either water and give sunlight to, or you ignore it, and what happens? It dies.
It dies.
So when it comes to couples who want to go from sexless to having sex again, and I work with couples who haven't been fucking for 7 years after being married for a decade plus, and we've gotten them back to playing once a week regularly, if not more, not because they have to, but because they want to.
Yeah.
And the journey they took is we really, begin to learn what their erotic kindling is. And this is a term that not everybody knows, but erotic kindling are the words, the touches, the stories that you need that help you feel both safe and secure, but also excited, right? A lot of sexless relationships, they've stopped investing into their erotic cups, if you will, and we'll get to like the desire types in a moment. But we've got to learn what actually does excite each other so we can start making deposits and then, deposits. Bit by bit. And
Yes.
so it
Nice.
could be even just physical massages, a 1-minute kiss when you get home from work, could be doing chores instead of the underwear. Like we've got options. So
I
like
love it.
having that's a great place to start.
So, okay, so it's the problem I think that people face when they're in a sexless relationship is that they don't know how to get it back because I mean, you have to take the steps. You're gonna have to want it, I guess.
Mhm.
And you're gonna have to take the steps and I guess do the work.
Mhm. Yeah. The weird thing about desire, and I hear a lot of, I work with straight and queer couples too. And one of the most common things I hear is one partner says, I still want sex with my partner. And the other one says, I've lost my desire. I want to want them. I don't know why. And so one of the real misunderstandings we have is that like your desire for your partner, it doesn't just like evaporate. Like you still have desire in your body, but sometimes we lose access to it because we have other stuff in the way. Resentment. If you love your partner but you don't like them because you're just annoyed by them. Welcome to a lot of couples who are in COVID. That can cut off your desire, but also things like your attachment style. So people who lean anxious are much more prone to being people pleasers in bed and desiring sex because it's a vehicle to connection. But if you lean avoidant, you actually have less access to desire the better your relationship gets or the deeper it gets until you heal the part of you that shuts down around vulnerability. So these are the people who say, every relationship when you're in, I love my partner, but I lose my desire. So for these people in particular, what actually growing desire looks like is we've got to train your body to be open to receiving connection. And we're talking this homework looks like a minute or two of cuddles on the couch, like building up physical touch so our nervous system doesn't feel creeped out when your partner touches you, which sounds really offensive to say that, but it's the
Yeah,
nervous system response. Like if you're triggered and your
I've been
partner
there.
leans in for a cuddle, yeah, and you're like, that feels
Yep.
gross.
Don't
And I
touch me.
love you. Why does it feel
Stop
so
breathing. Stop chewing.
Stop eating cereal so loudly.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you walk so heavy? Why? Stop. Don't slam the cupboard door. There's always something, right? And it's like
Yeah.
you find all of these things to. You had mentioned, well, you said homework, first of all. And then so I thought, oh, so there is, I mean, it is, you put in the work, I guess.
Yeah, the work and the play, and one part is you do on your own. Like with erotic kindling, you've got to go on a journey of exploring, well, what are the things that really do excite me and how can I share them openly with my partner? Some of us, we hide the things that really turn us on because we're afraid our partner won't like them or we're afraid that they won't be able to meet our desires. And we just got to share and co-create
Yeah.
from there. Like if you want to hold back everything you want, great. Odds are you're not going to get it. And you are just robbing you and your partner of the chance to grow sufficiently to get your desires met.
Yeah.
But the other kind of homework, I've got couples right now, even though they're open, like part of their homework is making room to flirt and just to like balls to the wall, flirting, sending photos, creating videos, doing the whole sexting thing, and just seeing what happens. We're not aiming to go from no sex to like porn star worthy 3-hour sex right away.
Yeah.
We're just looking to get the excitement back up. And the moment couples start talking about it openly and honestly, most people actually find there's a big improvement pretty immediately.
That sounds very much like the beginning of a relationship, the texting, the flirting, the maybe a naughty pic or something, or like dirty words and stuff. So it's that excitement of like
Mhm.
the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah. There's a
I guess.
thing that we're now learning called there's like different desire types. And I don't know, Western science is always researching men. So the thing we know as libido is actually not the only way to be turned on. Like
Yeah.
we call that spontaneous desire. You see something, you want them, and then you're ready to go pretty fast.
Yeah.
But that's common in new relationship energy, like at the top. When that new relationship energy goes away, a lot of people don't know actually how to turn themselves on. And so now we talk about responsive desire, which is kind of like that erotic kindling. What do
Mm.
we need to actually turn ourselves on, the touch, the words? And there's also a third called contextual, which I call like the anti-desire, which is what's either present in your space or not, that either turns you off, like maybe you have a chair in your bed with a lot of clothes, or your dog is in the bed, and that shuts down your desire, to what do you need to actually be turned on? Is it a certain kind of lighting? Is it that you want to be
Mm.
engaged or you want to be watched? So these are like three different perspectives to bring to your sex life, which if you're not having any or you're not feeling desire, odds are you're just not spontaneous anymore in your desire. Like that well's dried up, it's natural. It's time to
Mm.
learn to fill up your responsive and then your contextual desire well.
So, how much responsibility should a person take in not the demise of their sex life? I mean, do you know what I mean? Because it's easy to maybe blame the other person.
Mhm.
So, how much responsibility should someone take? Or is that,
None. Blame the partner all the way. No. I think
or I guess it depends.
yeah, I mean, it both depends, but I would say we practice taking 100% responsibility, which
Okay.
doesn't mean that you also own your partner's side of the tennis court, so to speak.
Okay.
But it does ask you to reflect and say, what am I doing or not? And also, how am I showing up in a way that might be influencing my partner's behavior? And that's a really
Mm.
interesting conversation, right? Because if we're saying, well, I want to have sex and I'm leaning in to make this work, but the actions you're taking and the way you're showing up is I'm making demands, I'm asking for it consistently, I'm not bringing curiosity or compassion to what they're going through, then you might be doing a flavor of the work, right? But the way you're showing up is actually shutting down your partner and freaking out their nervous system, even if your desire or anxiety is valid, right?
A flavor of the work. I like that.
Hmm.
Um, it's so complicated. It's so, I mean, obviously, it's so layered, and relationships are so, because it's like also you spend so much time with this person, you get into routines and patterns and familiarity. So it's really hard to switch gears from one thing. First of all, just to decide you want to work on it, and then to actually do the work and to take the steps. It's easier sometimes just to let it run its course and then just be like, and hate them and they're chewing,
Yeah.
you know?
Comfort is the death of happiness, I say. And like we
Mm,
love comfort, but if
yeah.
comfort's all you have, like relationships need two things. You need to feel safe, comfort, and cozy. Totally.
Yeah.
But you need to also feel like separate individuals who have some curiosities, some mystery around you. And we'll get to like what that is, but also excitement. So
Mm,
like if you've over indexed on coziness and you're just Netflix buddies every night, that can be a really happy and fulfilling relationship. It's
yeah.
just very lopsided. So you've got room to be over here, just like maybe if you over-indexed on the excitement, the adventure, and you're always having, your form of highest and best sex, but you're not making room for the coziness and the safety, then you're probably also experiencing a deficit.
Hmm. So being comfortable in a relationship isn't enough.
No, if that's the only thing you're watering, like if you're just aiming to be comfortable, then I'd be willing to bet that there are parts of you that feel unfulfilled, unseen, and underexpressed for sure. And what we as people, this is like what positive psychology will speak to, what we as people need is to be able to feel fully seen. Like we need relatedness, which doesn't just mean we're in a relationship being cozy, but it means you can see all parts of me and
Mm,
also appreciate them, which means the highlight reel, the bloopers we try to cut out, and also even if you say you're a dad, a real dad with kids, I want to be seen as both a good father and I want to be seen as a sexy bottom slut. And I want to be seen as good at my job, right? These are different things that we need.
yeah.
So from coziness, we typically say, oh, I love you and I appreciate you, but here's your sexy slut that's now in the closet saying, I just want to be told that I've got a fat ass and then
Yeah.
you want to devour me. Like,
And
why?
smack it, bitch. Smack
Please.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe then call me a bitch, or maybe call you bitch. Like,
Yeah.
that part wants to be seen and expressed and witnessed. And coziness doesn't
Mm.
always lead to that for obvious reasons.
No, for sure. And I love the idea that people are multifaceted because I think we love to put people in boxes and just be like, you're the dad, and then you just have to be the dad or the parent, or like you're the porn star, so I guess all you do is have sex and you're a whore. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no other, and I've had to deal with that in my own life because I had a porn career in my 20s.
Mhm.
And I mean, I love sex. I love the psychology of sex. I love talking about sex. And that's why I have people like you on the show and we talk about relationships and sex and everything. So it's all in my wheelhouse. But sometimes it's hard to be taken seriously as somebody who has a background in that. I mean, maybe less for you because I was on camera actually having sex and people have seen me that way. You know what I mean? And that's
Mhm.
just, that's your box. That's where you live now.
Mhm.
So I love that idea of like, I'm a dad, but I'm also like a bottom slut or, this multifaceted kind of both things can be true.
Yeah. This also
Mm,
goes to versatility. There are a lot of partners who will fall into one dominant role in a relationship, but it doesn't
mm,
mean that if they're just topping you, that they don't also have a submissive side or
mm,
want to be a
mm.
bottom, and they might have a hard time expressing that because one partner loves it when you're topping them, but you also need that itch scratched. So
Well,
creating
that's a
context.
good that's a good segue into open relationships then.
Mhm.
What that's probably one of the main reasons why people sort of branch out or open the relationships is because, well, look, I'm not getting everything I need from you,
Mhm.
which is legit. And so they open it up. So the monogamous side of it say, well, then it's not a real relationship anymore because you're sharing that intimate time with somebody else. Well, I know I'm talking, preaching to the choir with you. I know we're on the same page with this, but like
Yeah, for fun.
that's literally what they say. They're like, a relationship is just, if you're going to fool around, then just break up, and
Mhm.
for me, I will just say quickly, emotional monogamy is something that's important to me. So when I'm in a relationship, and this is just for me,
Mhm.
when I'm in a relationship, I do need to be emotionally monogamous with you, which means, we share something that I don't share emotionally with other people.
Mhm.
Now, physically is another thing. But and that's just for me because I know there's polyamorous relationships and thruples, and so there's emotional connection between multiple people, and
Mhm.
that's also okay. Um, but can opening your relationship help to deepen and strengthen your primary?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're not on TikTok reading hater fuel, like the debate you're talking about from people who say if you open up, just break up because you're a cheater or a narcissist or I mean, there are some very angry people on the internet, which I'm just learning, having blown up on TikTok a few times now. And it's just like, y'all need some therapy and EMDR and some coaching too, but also just a hug.
Yeah,
Not taking
yeah,
anything so seriously. Same thing to the people who put you in a box for being just a porn star when clearly, brilliant, compassionate, and many other gifts beyond just what you did in your 20s on the videos.
thank you.
But it's true.
Yeah.
So I will say for couples can easily strengthen their relationship when they open up. And I do see it regularly from couples who have opted into support. This is like a big difference. There are couples who have gotten support from a therapist or a coach, and those who have not. And the trajectory
Mm,
is oftentimes very different because not
mm,
getting support leads to a lot of conflict, usually. Because
mm,
when we open up, you're about to unearth a box of past pain, past wounds, past attachment difficulties that you haven't had to deal with because our stories of security, how we help ourselves feel secure, is so grounded in the Western world in monogamy. Oh, I'm the only one they're having sex with. I'm the one they're going to bed with. They're not talking to anyone else. Therefore, I can feel relaxed and safe and secure.
mm.
Now, the moment you open up, those scripts get thrown out right away. And it can
Yeah.
feel really alarming. But if you then build new scripts for security, and you learn to be open and discuss with your partner and actually excavate what needs you have and build from a more deeply authentic place. And this is when an open couple goes from they were good before to they are really great now because
Mm,
they've done the work to heal and they're just connected at such a deeper level, even if they're, fucking Steve and Adam from around the block. they themselves are just more deeply a unit.
Who isn't fucking Steve and Adam from around the block? I mean, those guys are just basically, it's an open door policy with those
They
guys.
live a great life. I'm happy for that.
They're very popular on Grindr. I think the monogamous camp, they don't take into account all of the what's the word? Not work, but things that go into having an open relationship. Like if it's going to be successful, communication is so important. Like,
Mhm.
so, it's like not acknowledging all of the positive things. And then that communication that you're having is only going to strengthen your relationship also. Um, you know, I think an open relationship done well, you have to keep revisiting it too, because
Oh, yeah.
right? Yeah, because things can change,
Mhm.
and you just need to be open and honest. And if they're talking about like cheating, sorry, but it's the monogamous people that are doing the cheating, because you're saying I'm monogamous, but then you go out and then you're fucking around. Not always, but I'm just saying that's what cheating is. When you have a contract with somebody that says, not actually, but we're monogamous, and then you go behind their back and you lie. That's cheating. Open relationship isn't cheating because hopefully both partners are on the same page and you've talked about it and you've communicated about it. You set your ground rules, and that's healthy.
Yeah, I think many in the pro monogamy camp, they just have a lot of wounds from being cheated on maybe before. They're
Mhm.
clearly not into cuck play. So they are just taking out their pain on other people. But like you
Yeah.
said, the communication is a big piece, and a great relationship is not a destination. A great relationship is a way of being, it is a
Mm.
dance, it is a continual expansion and exploration. And sometimes the best open couples, they become monogamous for a minute because work is stressful or they need to focus on each other. And there's no like right or wrong way about it. But it's basically you got to take a temperature check on
Mm.
you and your needs and what supports each other people or each other as people. And I remember during COVID, there was a time when I was stressed out by the world. I'm an empath. There's a lot going on. My desire, if I wasn't feeling hypersexual as a stress relief, was pretty neutral. And so I gave permission to my partner on the flip side as we're coming out of it. Like, if you want something, I think you should go get your needs met because I know I'm not going to be doing it right now. And I don't believe in sexual ownership of a partner. It is such a weird thought to me that our relationship means that you are prevented from doing anything, experiencing what you want, exploring the way that you want. Like in my ideal relationship, we are both a big thumbs up. We're honest and we're expressive about our needs, and we actually work to meet our needs with limitations maybe on some play. But we're really advocating for you should go live your best life and let's see how we can grow there together.
Yeah. What did you say? The ideal relationship is not a destination.
Mhm.
That's a T-shirt. That's a that's a bumper sticker. Well,
Slap it on a speedo, wear it to Puerto Vallarta.
right. I'm gonna yeah, exactly. I'm gonna put it on a thong and wear it to Spartacus.
uh,
I think relationships are always evolving and changing also. So yeah, no, it's not a destination, is it?
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of relationships, doing what you do, how easy is it for you to have relationships?
It's an interesting question because it is infinitely easier now to have good relationships than it used to be. So like
Hmm.
my not my villain backstory, but like kind of how I fell into this work was I've always wanted love. I've read all the self-help books on love, and I got into a few relationships that just weren't for me. And I was the guy who 1 year in, my desire would just cut out, even though I love my partners, they were everything I wanted emotionally, energetically, physically, and I could never explain why. Right.
Mm.
So doing this work, I really got to explore how did my own internal sexual system work so that I could learn what inputs I needed to be turned on for long-term relationship, to actually see what work I wasn't doing that was holding me back. On the
Mm.
flip side, it is difficult because, I see clients at every stage of their relationship. And sometimes I'm really happy when I look at my relationships because I'm like, well, we're not there. We're doing great. We've done a lot of the work.
We're not there yet.
Right, because we just have different years of experience. And other times, though, it is a reminder that so much is possible. Like, if you are willing to lean in and do the work, if you're willing
Mm.
to make room to disconnect from whatever acts you've had to grind with your partner and start looking at all the ways you're good for each other, all the ways you still love each other, all the ways that you are great in bed together, like there really is very little that your relationship can't grow into.
Mm,
And so it does always put, for me and my relationships, a pretty high bar as it should. Like in the world right now, we've never wanted better relationships than we do today. This is
mm,
not a financial contract with a farm and sheep. We're not getting married just to have kids. People get in relationships because they want a partner to have fun with, they want a partner to grow with, and they want to be seen and witnessed. And
mm.
that means we need to have a high bar for who we let into our lives and then hold ourselves to that same standard, not in a judgmental way, but more in like a let's continue growing to hit that. So that I think is the difficult part is I don't get to relax on my laurels. I've got to look in the mirror and be like, how am I contributing to this relationship breakdown right now, given whatever is going on? And if I wasn't stuck in the weeds in my own head, like who would I invite myself to be to get things to improve?
Do you find you coach yourself?
Mm-hmm. Totally. And I try not to coach my partners.
I was
Sometimes
well, that was going to be the follow up. That's what I
well,
was going to ask because that sounds annoying. I mean,
yeah, it
yeah,
can, but it's also true for a lot of my clients. One person comes into work because they've read the books and they have the language already, and so
yeah.
we've got to really bridge that divide and create space for the other partner to not feel like they're behind or like struggling to catch up, and we're not pathologizing them. But one of the things I teach in my coaching, there's a term called crafting, which is like you get to coach yourself. You ask yourself what you want your life, your relationship, your sex life to look like. You ask yourself what's in the way. And then you ask yourself, how can you either change it based on what you're doing? How can you reframe how you're seeing it to support the outcome that you want? Which
Mm,
might mean my partner and I aren't having the sex we want yet, but I see that we're both trying, and that makes me feel better about it. Or you
mm.
can change how you're showing up, which is usually regulated and with the energy that you want to experience more of. So if your partner is not exactly bringing the heat in the bedroom and you're not doing it either, well, guess what? It's your invitation to go coach yourself to bring some heat and see what happens. Because we can't just wait for a magical flame to start. Like we've got to bring the ingredients to get the meal we want to eat cooked.
You have all of these little sayings that are so cute.
I'm just a foodie. I just really like
I know
food.
you're making me hungry now.
For what?
Right? Well, everything. Um, yeah, I think it takes a lot of courage too to be the one, like say you both have let it sort of slide and maybe, the fire has gone out. It takes a lot of courage to try to pick that up, I think. Even with your partner who you should feel safe around and stuff, but there's still it feels risky.
It
Like, oh, what
feels,
if they reject me? You
yeah,
know?
it feels more risky for long-term couples to pick it back up because
Mm,
usually at that point they've been avoiding it. And the more we avoid, the bigger and scarier the thing gets. And
yeah.
what I always say is if you think your partner is avoiding the conversation, a great way to lean in is just to say, hey, I really care about you and your pleasure. And I'd just like to start having some conversations about how we can get you off moving forward. When
Yeah.
we come in and we say, I want this for me, sometimes people have a very reactive stance because they feel guilty or they feel shame because no one is actually ignorant if you're not having sex. No one's thinking, oh, we are so fulfilled. We
Yeah.
haven't done it or come together in 5 months.
Yeah.
Like deep
Yeah.
down, we know we
Mm.
feel bad. But if you lead with, I care about you and want this for you, it has a way of actually making the relationship more secure to then receive the same desire back because most partners aren't going to hear a conversation about what I want to know what you want and not also desire to ask, well, what about you?
Mhm. Yeah, it's all it's the language and it's the wording and there's a proper way to do that, and that's why people need to see you, go see you, get the language, go to coachingnaked.com and, get the tools so that they can succeed in their relationships.
They deserve it. You deserve a great relationship. You deserve a great sex life, and you can
I
have
do,
one.
I do, I do. Greg, thank you so much for joining us today on Queerly Us. I'm going to put all of your links down in the description below so people can get in touch with you and follow you. Um, so thank you so much for your wisdom and all of your expertise. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Patrick. It's been a blast.
And for the rest of you, I will see you in the next episode. of Queerly Us.